Hello, everybody.
With the nice zombie voice. Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
How's it going, guys? All good? I heard you weren't feeling too well, Jacob.
Yeah, I was maybe a little bit too excited after all the events. Well, something got to me, but I'll be all right in a few days.
That's the Lisbon effect, no?
Probably, yeah, I don't know. I actually haven't been to many parties. I was just working all day, and then I met with people. And actually, we have quite a lot of new good connections, so I'm glad I went.
Hey Richard, I didn't want to didn't want to close your request. Just didn't know how to respond. Like we will just like intro this this AMA, and then we can start. We will share some updates, and then we can start with questions. Okay.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Yeah. So hello everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming this Tuesday evening. Some of you came to London even, which was great to meet you in person. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Maybe I was thinking about like maybe we should I should repeat the presentation from London to here in community to show you that you are in the like good family. Also there were some new information or like new points for the presentation. For those who don't know nothing about London meetup, I had a talk there about how other projects are basically validating our ideas back then from like 2019 when we were just like drawing them on dashboards, then starting working on them. Some of them already implemented or like made some of them as our first implementation, and now other more OG projects or much more older projects are coming to same conclusion, same solutions, or not the same, but a little bit similar, or some use cases. There are like these like peer-to-peer. There are these like not peer-to-peer actually. They are like protocol-to-protocol use cases popping around, which are super exciting. So one protocol is basically serving other protocols, which are super cool, and we had it always on the mind from 2019 about how these parachains can work together. So if you want, if there will be like some interest to repeat that presentation for you here in Discord, like globally and virtually. Unfortunately, I can repeat it if you want, but let me know after this AMA.
Yeah, and I mean we've got a lot of questions for the snake and Hydra, and quite a lot that overlap too. But did you guys want to start with Basilisk topics first, or?
We would go actually first with Hydra and then Snake, because Snake will have much more call to action or much bigger points to discuss again and to tell you.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot to digest tonight, I think. So it's but I guess if you just want to get straight into it, like a general update of Hydra. Now that obviously we all know the auctions are starting next week, I guess if you just want to give us an update in general of where that is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we were a little bit, to be honest, we were a little bit surprised by how was set up timeline for Polkadot parachains. Actually, they were even less than 28 days actually when they first time announced it, or like 28 days direct specifically, and yeah, we were considering a lot if we should join a party as soon as possible. We were speaking with many teams, but when we saw the state of Kusama and everything, and obviously Basilisk is not like fully live yet, we realized that it would be better to start with the second batch and not rush too much to the first batch, where we see a lot of like overpriced slots again. Like it doesn't make sense to compete with Akala, which will attract shit ton of dot, Moonbeam as well, based on Moonriver success. But I'm like super curious what how will looks relationship between Moonbeam, Moonriver, and if community will split, or if community will be bigger diehard fan for Moonriver. We'll see. But for that reason, we think it's much better to join the second batch actually. But we might see again like much better, much fierce competition within second batch. So we'll see. But we want to focus right now on delivery of snack.
Yeah,
Also,
sure. So if you want, I can give you some more background behind this. So we are running currently a Basilisk parachain on Kusama, and in the last, actually after the AMA, the last 3 weeks, there were 3 critical updates that we needed to handle, which took us a lot of time because we needed to basically reshuffle the development to put out the fire, or how you say it. There was one back in Kusama which needed fixing ASAP. If you can find Akala blog posting about it.
it was pretty scary back in XCM, which affected many things.
Yeah, so we needed to fix those because, and it was not our issue, but yeah, we are still depending on Kusama, so we are expecting a little bit less chaos, but it still happens, so we cannot do anything about it. And I think even for that reason, that you don't see anything happening right now in Kusama, it would be like we would join Polkadot, and it would be right now in a few weeks, and then nothing happens. So even for that reason, like paying for doing nothing seems unreasonable. so these were like the main pushing points which say to us, hey, let's finish everything, let's make it much better, and polish it, and then do a parachain instead of everybody will be like on us why we are not delivering. And it's actually not just us, it's actually also the underlying relay chain system and parachain system and XCM that makes us hold on, because as you know, there is like currently there is not much happening in Kusama, and it's also because of these upgrades to XTM that are just launching, and also because of another thing, which is like cost of opening channels between parachains. which we proposed to Kusama Treasury to lower, and that is currently being enacted. And to get more picture in that, it was like for just opening channels to communicate with any other parachain, it would cost together, I think, 120k US dollars, or maybe now even more in current prices, to just open the channel and keep it there. So we would need from the team's money put out the bond and keep it there. So we propose to lower it because it doesn't make any sense right now, and it will go through Kusama governance proposals, and other teams are backing us with this. So I'm very hopeful it will pass very soon, and then we can finally construct interchain communication with Kusama and with other parachains and start doing stuff with Basilisk. So yeah.
No, there's
There were other breaking changes because all parachains, or most of parachains actually, reported networking issues and issues with block production, which was longer than should be. And even if you open Polkadot.js, for example, Kintsugi, they have often like lag in finality in like 2 or even more minutes. And it's caused because some of or many Kusama validators, they are using the cheapest setup on VPS providers. But it wasn't actually only about it.
Yeah, like I mean, the main question we've got is obviously when LBP, but I think it's fair enough. You know, when you look at the other parachains, everybody's sort of rolling out slightly slower than expected, right? So it's interesting to hear you guys say this the second round for DOT. And do you have sort of an estimate for when that might be on DOT, the second round, or like in your heads, you have an estimate of like how much time that will give you, or?
Yes. So the second round. Actually, the second round is the auctions are right after the first round, but the onboarding of parachains will be in March, which is, I know it's quite a lot of time, but as we see with the development of even Polkadot itself, it's not that much of the time, and I think we will not miss out basically anything, because Hydra is like multi-asset giant omnipool, which should have a lot of liquidity in it. And if there is 4 chains that are not fully working, then it doesn't make sense to have a slot for us. Also,
Yeah, that's fair. And like you say, we saw it all with Kusama, right? Like a lot of teams were super quick to try and get the first slots, but are still sort of rolling out now, right? So be interesting to see how much really does get locked up straight away. But like technically speaking, do you think this will allow you to work on like Basilisk a lot more, or technically is Basilisk sort of ready, but you're just waiting for like the changes you talk about with XCM and the lag
so
from Kusama itself, or what?
so
What
we
sort
also
of?
have so yes, so we also have we are waiting on these changes, but we also have like we reworked how LBP works internally to make it more efficient, to make it cheaper for transactions, and now we are re-auditing it currently. So like it will be finished in 2 days, basically, the final version, and then re-audit, and then we can go on. But the proposal for the slots will probably pass sometime next week. So it's and we still are polishing the UIs, and we want to probably launch a testnet before everything. So it's not just this that slowed us down. It's also that we have a shit ton of work to do.
Yeah, also, yeah, it's hard to get any auditing smart contract or like security audits company to get to work like when you need ASAP. It's like almost impossible. Like all of them are so booked. It is a case when you are a huge project like Polkadot or something that you can pay millions in retainer and have someone onboard like 24/7 basically, or provide, or like having having free slots for you for like next year or something. That's the case of Polkadot and their major security audit company SR Labs, which we also used earlier for one quicker audit, but now they are like super busy as well. We are trying to get them, so we might get some availability via Parity and Polkadot, but working on it. And but all other security audit companies, they are like super busy, also with ETH and all other stuff going elsewhere. So
Actually, in Lisbon, I heard rumors that we are one of the few Kusama parachains that are audited. So
oh,
they gave us props. So there will probably be larger chaos than we are expecting.
we'll see,
Man,
But
don't scare us.
on the other hand, like not every parachain will need like super strict security audits. Also working on like getting other more professional companies who are doing super cool things about like security within the crypto and blockchain space, but they didn't explore Substrate and Polkadot much. And also we are trying to push Web3 Foundation and Parity to help offset costs on security audits for first 10 or 15 parachains, at least to pay them one security audit, and maybe for those who make it sense to pay economic audit, as we are doing with block science, or Akala is working, for example, with Gauntlet Network on it. They are keen to it because currently the treasury, the Polkadot and Kusama treasury are so full that they are starting to burn themselves, which is actually quite fail of any on-chain governance, but it's also its case of any treasury. That was also part of my talk in UK, in London, that when you will open, I think the site is called openorgs.org or com or io, I don't know. It's like website monitoring on-chain treasuries of DAOs. Like this one is focused mainly on like DAOs on Ethereum, or DAO treasury for Ethereum projects like Uniswap, Synthetix, and others. You will see that there is like sitting untouched like hundreds or even like billions, hundreds of millions, or even like billions of dollars, and these projects can spend them very well. Also, I have some talks with like these bigger parties or these like major stakeholders uh, about launching liquidity mining for the supporting whole ecosystem. So for bringing assets from others networks like Bitcoin, ETH, and maybe other networks to Polkadot DeFi. Like actually, I was telling about I was telling them this from February last year. But finally they are listening, because like many other layer ones are doing the same, because they see it's necessary. We saw it on Avalanche, for example, lately, where it was like a huge success, or basically it was like a huge driver for their DeFi, when it helps to scale their TVL there to like tens of billions.
Mm. Yeah, that's a super interesting point. And yeah, like you say, every layer one's sort of try to do that to fight for the TVL, right? But do you think that's something that will just come from the teams? Like the more developed they are, and the more that they've launched their parachains, like then we'll start to see proposals to use it a bit more, or do you think that needs to come from the community, or how do you see that actually being spent?
The whole treasury, or in regards to liquidity mining?
Yeah, just in general, really. Like you say, like on Kusama and Polkadot, it's huge, and a lot of these other layer ones and ecosystems are spending it to attract it. So how do you think that can be better on Kasama and Dot?
A good question. I think people should just in generally ask more for it. Like for it's funny speaking by us because we didn't have like best experience with the grant process, like not with treasury but the grant process. So we had like PTSD from asking for grants and this stuff. So we were mostly building everything by our own money. But yeah, we are gonna to use it as well, and I hope other projects will be asking more frequently for it. They shouldn't be scared. There was also some like bad precedent from some like former council members or for some like former community members who were like very knowledgeable about like development in Substrate or like in Dotsama ecosystem in general. And when some like newcomer was asking, for example, for grant to develop something for 18,000, they were like too much protective on this fund, and they were like, "Oh, why you are asking so much? I can do it for like 10K." Like obviously you can because you are in the ecosystem like 2 years or 3 years, so you know everything. But for the latecomers, for the like newcomers, the Substrate and the whole ecosystem is like super big and like hard to navigate. You most of the time. So we are trying to explain them that they should support other projects more, or people asking for like reasonable money more. But on the other hand, there was also real issue within the grant program from Web3 Foundation. Then there was like there start to pop up teams who were copying code from older teams, and they were getting money for it and not doing much, or like the implementation was very shitty and it was just like copy paste from older teams. So that uh, that was some like issues with grant program and
So
giving grants.
so we should make sure that we don't have this same problem, and we should be more open with this, I think. And people should not be scared to ask for grants for building applications. Uh, Maybe even sometimes we sounded harsh, but I think like if anybody is reasonable about a project that they want to build, we'll be happy to fund it. Um, yeah, and we should make sure that it's easy to do, because currently in Polkadot it's a really really hard process. Like for one person, it's like a lot of work to just get a grant, and we should strive to make it more easy for, especially for like single persons, not the teams.
Mm. No, that's a really interesting point. And like you say, it's a lot of money, right? So hopefully as teams like Basilisk and Hydra come up, they can push that, to the newbie teams as well. But just to sort of go back to the Hydra sort of dot strategy, I saw there was a lot of back and forth in the Discord channel about, should Hydra go for the first or second slot? And I think there's quite a lot of fair arguments either side. Um, but maybe if you could just sort of give a timeline of will you be releasing the crowd loan strategy soon? Because a lot of these questions
Yes.
are asking when rewards, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are trying to estimate the crowd loan tokenomics. So if you have any of that planned already, or
Yeah,
Yes.
we actually we were thinking till last moment to actually this AMA to get feedback from you guys. But as we thought about it more and more and argued about it more and more internally, it really doesn't make a lot of sense for us to go into first batch. So we will still listen to you guys if you say like everybody says we should go to the first batch, then we might consider it, but then we'll still wait for some time to be able to do anything really.
Yeah, also asking for rewards is like interesting question, because we would like to like it's a little bit same as Basilisk. We were waiting to see other teams what they are going for, because the price for the slot will be actually determined by market, as it is always. Like, okay, like the Killed was very very weird outlier that people, it was so successful, even as it was like basically almost order of magnitude lower than anything else. But like kudos for them that they made it and they were successful. On the other hand, we also think that like giving away like too much of supply for the first slot is always is not like very good for the like long term perspective, because when the slot will end, they will need to find another source for dot and KSM, and most probably in many cases it will be just like inflation. Also, when you are having like 30% tokens for slot, then there is like shit ton of new supply coming to markets all the time. So hard to say how some of them will retain the monetary value. So we are also like very curious, like what will be the numbers, what will be the numbers from other teams, so
Yeah,
we
and
can
do,
we can do something reasonable.
do you have any estimates you want to throw out? I mean, it's I've seen some people think 10-20 million dot in the first auctions alone, but you guys have any like personal thoughts on what it could be, or?
Not yet. I need to do.
Yeah,
I need to check. I need to check like other
it's
teams and
so Kusama was crazy, so this will maybe be even more crazy. Um, we'll see. Um,
well, I think like almost everyone on Polkadot will be much more conservative, because many teams or many projects can't afford this like YOLO approach anymore, because like their canary networks, they are basically, they have the same network for free, and they were just like testing stuff, while the Polkadot is like much more serious for them. So you can see it, for example, on Moonriver and Moonbeam. Like Moonriver allocation for crowd loan was 30%, while on Moonbeam it's I think 17.5 or 12.5.
Yeah, and I guess the big difference as well is having no cap, right? Because it's hard to guess. It's 2 years lockup, but at the same time, is that going to stop people YOLOing in for the first ones? It's going to be interesting. But whilst we're on the topic of Hydra, I guess the next most sort of asked thing was on the governance topic for Hydra, which I guess is obviously the tripling. I know we
maybe
spoke about it last time on the AMA, but
Before
what's
yes,
the before the tripling,
we have a
Nirvana Nirvana unlock is coming next days. There was some back and forth and double checks if all balances would be corrected properly, or if the all numbers are correct. And after then we will go for the tripling.
it should go like very soon. The tripling will be uh, probably this week. I didn't hear from the person that is responsible, but we just like have it ready. We just need to propose it on chain as a governance proposal, and then vote on it. Hopefully, it will pass, and then right after that, we'll vote on the tripling. So the tripling vote will probably work like this. It will be remarked to the chain that we all agree that we will we will triple the supply for these people. There will be a link to what it actually means, like exact specification of this, and we will enact it in the future, probably right before mainnet or during the mainnet, because it is not a simple transition. We need to calculate a lot of stuff, and maybe the best way to do this would be during the regenesis to the mainnet. But let's see, like we are still thinking about how to implement this correctly so that everybody has what he deserves, because there is different people. Like we need to triple all of the treasury, like bounties, payoffs, everything, staking, everything, and we cannot triple some stuff like investors and intergalactic balances and stuff like that. So that needs to stay the same. So
By
there will be quite a lot of back and forth.
By regenesis, Jakub mean the transition from standalone chain to parachain. Like currently, the Hydra is like standalone chain, but it will be transitioned to parachain.
So
And I guess one thing to ask on that topic was, will the Hydra, the HDX bonuses for the Basilisk crowd learners, will people, like, can you already confirm if that will be in the
yes,
tripling as well, for sure?
yes,
Or?
yeah, yes.
Okay, cool.
Me. Sorry to bother you guys.
Sorry, man.
Hi. Are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Well, firstly, I'd like to say, this is the first AMA that I've attended of for your project, so glad to be here. I supported you right from the beginning, from auction one, and I know it's been a while, but
Thank you.
since it's the first time, I'd like to congratulate you. But I also like to say how excited I will be to contribute to HydraDX. But I just have a very quick question. Not so much about the rewards, but more to do with. I know that Basilisk has one function and HydraDX will have another, and obviously they'll work they work together. And I would assume they'll be working more efficiently together once Polkadot and Kusama have the bridge, which I believe is estimated to be coming out by the end of this year, if I'm not mistaken. Why did you decide to test Basilisk on Kusama and put HydraDX on Polkadot? Is there a reason, or is it just the fact that HydraDX is more of a solid, less experimental project? Or, it was just a question I had for a while, and I just thought I would ask you tonight. Thank you very much.
It's fitting. Basilisk is much better fit for Kusama than Hydra and opposite. So on Kusama we will see a lot of a lot of shitcoins, or like very experimental tokens or new tokens or tokens for Canary networks, NFTs, a lot of like wild experimentation with like liquid staking, staking derivatives and stuff. So for that reason, and also Kusama will be rolling new parachain crowd loans for like next year. So there will be a lot of parachains coming, which can cause a lot of instability, which could basically make some issues for Hydra if Hydra will fulfill the vision, and it will be a really huge pool of other assets. Then it needs like much more stable ecosystem or space to work. Especially today, I saw a paper from Tarun Chitra, which is like from yesterday or from 2 days ago. It was like research demonstration on Solana bug that for AMMs is very dangerous to lose liveness. by liveness, it's like blockchain terminology buzzword is like property of being able to produce new blocks. So usually when there is some issue with proof of stake networks, they are losing liveness, so they stop work, as we saw on Solana, but we saw the same in Polkadot. We saw the same. I think it was like Avalanche. Like, good thing about like losing liveness is that usually there there can't happen like any double spend or other invalid state transition because the chain stopped working. But on the other hand, when the chain is not restarted enough and prices on external markets will move like too much, then it will basically create a huge losses for people, for the liquidity providers, or not a huge, but it can cause like bigger losses for liquidity providers because their positions couldn't be rebalanced via arbitrages. So it makes like it create the gap between that market which stop and between like external markets like centralized exchanges or basically other dexes which were still operational.
Actually,
So
I read
so
that
it's,
also,
yeah. What?
and I think the final conclusion was that AMMs are slightly better than centralized exchanges in this way. But I already thought about fix for this, especially in Hydra, because we have weighted pools, and we could do some magic to protect liquidity providers after there is a liveness problem. But more on that later.
Yeah, like I'm like super curious like what you created again, but yeah, but it's much better for a Hydra to be in like a stable environment where a lot of applications on Basilisk, they are basically like separated use cases. Uh, so it's from that point of view, it's better to split it in that way.
Mm.
Also, the reason why you see just like 300 or less than a little bit less than 300 validators or Polkadot in opposite to 900 on Kusama is that they really want to make Polkadot stable as much as possible. Why Kusama will be pushed to its limit.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see that with an auction every week. We hopefully chaos is soon. But following from like the government's proposal for the tripling, I know last time you guys spoke about just the Hydra fundraising in general, and that you were kind of planning a raise before the dot auction. So, do you guys have any more on that side of things?
Yeah, so that was something where I was spending most of my time last weeks, and we are super happy that we put together like impressive list of especially angels for this round. So there was like almost no VCs from the seed round, which was like nothing personal against them. It was just like they got some allocation earlier, and we want to distribute ownership of Intergalactic, the company building Hydra and Basilisk, much more. So sorry. So there are like very few investors who were desired to put some money, but we cut them a lot because we were making space for a lot of angels who are building Polkadot and Kusama. Uh, and I think that's the right type. I think that's the right type of investors for us. I shouldn't specify it before it's official. We are just finishing the paperwork, but I'm super excited about like group of people who committed to us, as soon as their commits in like different companies will finish, or as soon as they will be done with development of other things, they will they will be helping us more and more. And even before that, they are committing some time as like advisors or technical advisors or business advisors to make us to help to make us faster and more efficient.
Mm. No, and that's interesting because I know before you guys mentioned like after the initial LBP that you had like quite a lot of VCs come to you and were interested in Hydra. So I'm just wondering, like the ones that haven't still got in via like the fund rounds or whatever, do you think that they're they're going to ape into the crowd loan, or do you think they're going to try and market buy, or like how do you sort of see it going for when the Hydra FOMO kicks in?
So that's good that you brought that interest early this year. Yeah, there was actually like shit ton of VCs who wanted to do some like side deal or like private deal, and we basically we didn't let them. It wouldn't be fair for the like investors who committed like much more earlier, but it wouldn't be fair also in regards to people. Like I don't see why someone should have like uh, better position if he or she is not bringing something like super special, like for example like some domain specific knowledge about DeFi or finance or development or something. So there was and some of them ended in LBP, some of them not because this it was pointed in the like great meme that nah, I'm not pleb, so they stand it out, and now they were asking again. But even for me it was like, for us it was more meant to be as a like test of these people. So we saw that we were observing like who really uh, who is really taking care, who is like really interested, who is helpful. Because like harsh truth about like VCs or like current investment atmosphere is that there is so much money floating around, not just in crypto but in world general, that huge funds, not just huge funds, even like small funds, they have a huge issue to allocate money to any meaningful pre-sale or seed seed round or Series A or anything before it hit public. So they are investing a lot here and there, chasing new deals as crazy. And then you see, and often they get like very small allocation in like any round, even like the most famous investment companies, they have issue to for example when they want to like invest 2 million, they got allocation like 200k or 500k. It's like it's very small size for them, so they don't care about these projects, so there are not any added value for these projects, and also they don't have capacity to take care about it. Actually, it was like much better few years ago when it was not such crazy, and investors were building much deeper relationships with projects, and they were working together. Uh, so yeah, so sorry, what was the question? No, it was just like explaining. It was
Yeah,
just like
just
explaining how
I
we are
guess, and I
thinking
guess
of
in general, like,
around.
do you see like Dot and Kusama changing sort of the way that the VCs act? Like we've obviously seen it recently with the reaction on the Kusama community to sort of VCs that made like frowned upon decisions, and obviously the idea of the crowd loan auctions in general is sort of shakes it up a bit, and especially now that we're sort of people are understanding the concept of an LBP for teams to raise money as well. Like, do you think that Dotsama in general will have quite a big impact on just crypto and that side of things as a whole? Or
Yeah. So the good things about the good a little bit like good thing about like crowd loan is that many teams are starting to push their investor to their investors to not just like invest money but also help in crowd loans. So they are requiring like much bigger help from investors than previously. On the other hand, it also means that these parties are getting more tokens because they are like eating allocation for community in crowd loans for themselves. I don't want to name it, but you could see some of these examples in like previous crowd loans. The the specific case which you probably mean, I'm not sure if VCs were pushing them to use Kusama starter for listing. Maybe that was some like different desire from the core team why they choose that way. And it's a little bit sad because I know the team a little bit and they are like super technical advanced, but like just looking at that side, at the like horrible KSM starter side is like screaming so many red flags for me. So I don't know why they choose to do it like that. What we are trying to achieve with LBPs, especially with like version 2 of LBP, which if Angular will be working or if there will be like some like stablecoin liquidity on Angular, then it will enable to raise to set up LBP without any capital requirements from team, which is like really groundbreaking because even in our case when we were doing LBP, we needed to put most of our funds from seed round to LBP just to make it uh, as big our side as big as possible to absorb as much liquidity as possible, and it didn't help too much. So teams so the all teams currently have or any people who wants to bootstrap their liquidity, they have just like very limited options. They can do it via like centralized exchange, which we are not big fans, obviously, or I'm not sure. I don't think it's the right way anyway. Then you could do like Uniswap or Polka Starter or any XYK AMM for a listing, which is on one side. If you want to do it like legit way, then you need to put like 50% of value upfront, which is like crazy a lot of money, which no team can have, or you can set up like very shallow pool and basically tell or basically set up the pool in a way that $100,000 on one side is basically that 50% of the pool, and the second side from your tokens are the second half, and then the pool is super shallow and you can basically pump the token by yourself like super easily, basically with like few thousand of dollars, also with some help of bots who are going crazy. Usually there were many bots from DeFi from the early days of DeFi summer who were just like sniping on new pools opening. So these like bots were driving front running people and driving prices even more than founders of these like shallow pump and dump pools. Or you can do the LBP where you can set up, for example, initial weight 5 and 95, so you need just like 5% uh, just like 5% of the pool value will be from you, for example, in stablecoins. But if you if you want to absorb some liquidity and make the slippage small for people, then it could be still a lot of money which you need to like get somehow. So if you are not millionaire, then you need to raise from VCs, and then you are recreating these like traditional finance setup again and again. Also, there is like other like fundamental issues with fundraising. Like everyone, even us, like everyone is so scared from SEC and regulators that no one is doing like good old-fashioned ICOs like Ethereum did in 2014. Like imagine Ethereum doing KYC and AML ICO in 2014. I'm very doubt that it would be such successful and that it will create such a strong ecosystem if it would be a case in that way in that time. So yeah, hard to tell. Hard to tell. We will see, but also there is quite nice trend within the crypto that more and more founders are actually anons. Same like Scoopy Truples from Alchemix or Zeus from Olympus, which we know, or we were talking with him a couple of times. Also Zero X Maki Anon. I didn't have a chance to meet him personally, but my other friends had. Brainjar from Picasso is Anon. So more and more founders are Anons, which is actually which is great. Sometimes I'm sad that I didn't use Hydra as Anon actually.
I mean, you've got a dog profile picture, so.
Yeah. Dodge Vader.
But nonetheless, and like you say, it's a shame that the KSM starter drama came up. But like, I think the best thing that came out of it was that a lot of people realized the value in Basilisk and LBPs, right? So at least it wasn't all bad. But I
Great,
guess
but also I was very nicely surprised by
yeah, I was going to ask, what was your
Donny. That it was very nice moment when Donny was not just the main influencer in Dotsama ecosystem, but actually the main curator of ecosystem that he and other folks from Chaos DAO or his Bex Hunter community, they were or others from other communities, they were trying to protect Kusama from bad players and create ecosystem a lot and to prevent scammy projects coming or like sending signal that this is not the place for the like scammers, which is great. And actually the whole issue with like regulated crowdfunding is maybe because like there was too much of scams going on Ethereum back in the days, so regulators get mad and they realize that this is something what should be regulated to protect users. Also, it's not protecting them much anyway. It's same as we see that people who could get DYDX airdrop, which is like 5 figures, or how much, like how is SEC protecting me if I can't make it when I'm excluded, or why I should suffer from being born in like dictatorship company. Like I didn't choose state where I was born. So yeah. So it's great. I think it was like it was like great to see how many people were super vocal. Even maybe they were a little bit more harsh than integrity would deserve, but still it was great signal to the other ecosystems and to other people that we don't want to scammers here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think even just to make awareness of the governance system on Kusama itself is, you got to start somewhere. And Integrity took one for the team to to wake us all up a bit, I think. But I think we've covered a lot on Hydra. Like, so poke me if there's anything burning on Hydra you want to go over. But like, I think you guys have summarized that you're going to go for the second round. you're going to go with the triple in soon. You're going to announce the crowd loan rewards sort of closer to the time after we've seen other teams. And that you're going to announce the VC stuff relatively soon as well. One of the other final things that I've
It's
got.
not just VC stuff, man. It's like many great angels. Like for the angels, I'm like super happy about this round.
Good VCs.
Like the angels are not VCs. They are like coders. Many of them are basically coders or researchers within the ecosystem. Like anyone with IQ bigger than 30 can like derive from like which parties are these people coming.
Okay, but no, and it'll be cool to see like who you've got there, because there's a lot of cool people in and a lot of them Dotsama angels or like from other ecosystems as well, or
Dotsama angels,
oh, okay, even better.
but people building like most important stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. And you say you're going to announce that like in the next couple of weeks, or
They probably don't want to be named. I don't know because this is not their like usual role. But we'll see.
You'll see some commits probably.
Yes.
No, that's
and
cool.
You can see in hydration anyway. So
True. No, it'd be cool to hear. And I guess one of the final questions I've got on my sheet for Hydra really is, I guess you've answered it a bit with the fact that you said you're going for the second round of auctions, but like how currently is the team split? And I know this question was asked in the last AMA, but I guess like people are still wondering, how is the team split between Basilisk and Hydra? And obviously, like I say, you've answered it a bit with the fact that you're going to go for the second round of auctions, but like, are you trying to grow a team on both now, or focus
So,
just on one? Or
so we're very happy that we finished the round, because now we can start fully hiring. We already started, so we're searching for colleagues. We're searching for colleagues in almost every department to grow the team. Like, I think almost double the size, to be able to support at the same time both partners and maybe even some more projects that will come. But yeah, so currently fully hiring, and there are some people that are working on HydraDX still, mainly Colin, and also I don't know if you know about this, but we had a token engineering course that was 12 weeks long, where we taught people how to do token engineering and the stuff that block science is doing for us.
we lost Jakub somehow. Maybe I can finish it. So actually on the Thursday when I had the talk in London, there was this like resolution from these like research topics from that whole course. There was created within the course, there was created like 17 or organized or self-organized, actually the seven teams of people interested in like different parts of Hydra and Omnipool, and like its alternative use cases. So we realized that they should be rewarded for their effort, and they got so far, and many of them wants to continue on research anyway. So it help us to basically increase number of researchers at once a lot, like from basically two or three plus block science to I don't know, like much more. We will try to get some of them like our full-time colleagues. We'll see.
I think other Jacob, you're back. Are you good with us now? Yeah.
so we are trying to build not just like development capacities, but also research capacities. Basically, it's like our own research substrate.
And I guess this sort of links in to the next sort of questions that a lot of people still sort of wondering how would the split of Basilisk and Hydra sort of governance and council, would that affect the team setup? And are you sort of hiring specifically for one or the other, or is the governance split between the two something that's just going to go on around the team?
Yeah, so currently, obviously, Snag is getting more love, but we are constantly hiring more people and training them also from the community developers and hydration. And we want to have like Basilisk and Hydra should be like split governance wise and team wise, and there should be like people dedicated for one and people are dedicated for other. That's why we also will be finally launching Basilisk governance soon. It will come after claims of tokens, so you could finally participate on governance. Also, we would like to encourage everyone to participate even before BSX has a specific price, because we will do retroactive rewards similar to Hydra. So there was like many people helping us before Hydra LBP, and once we set up Hydra treasury and governance process, they were able to basically count their efforts or hours and ask for the appropriate reward. Same as, for example, Vladi, which I see who I see on this call, and others. So the same is applied for the snack. So whoever will help us before, he or she doesn't need to be scared that it was for free. No, and actually it's setting a great foundation, or it's like increasing the probability that these like active persons will be voted to council. And also I'm thinking, I don't know how other people thinking about like having council members or these like governance bodies who are like much more active and who are like requiring more time, having like paid. I think it's quite necessary. I heard some stories, or I saw some stories from DAOs that these people, as they were doing this like governance, like serious governance stuff in like different DAOs for free, they need to like stop their contribution, which I think it doesn't make sense. Like the any like active governance persona needs to be paid enough that they can quit their normie job and focus on this as much as possible. So with liquid BSX, we finally got there, and before it will be liquid, I think it's a good chance for anyone to earn some BSX by work.
Oh, that's interesting, man. And like you say, like it's all been organic on the snake now, so it's nice that people know that like that will come in at some point anyway, you know. And I mean, let me know if there's anything you wanted to go through on Hydra, but
Yeah,
or
I
if
think we cover with Hydra with almost everything. Like speaking of like the retroactive rewards, like look, it doesn't make sense for us to be like greedy and have like shit ton of tokens which can go to zero just because we didn't want to share them with people who deserve them for work. It doesn't make sense to it
No,
doesn't make
it's just,
sense anyhow. Like
and it's kind of goes back to the point you were making about the Kusama and dot treasuries, right? Like you guys seem to have a pretty cool idea of how you can do it better. So I'm sure if it works, it would show other people how to do it too, you know. But if we're done with Hydra, it kind of goes to the burning question, which is when LBP.
yeah, so LBP will come when the first thing which need to come, and I mentioned it on the last AMA, is like incentivized Deegan testnet, where we will try everything with all of you, all functionality, and that should come in like 2 or 3 weeks. It uh, it uh, it will still need some like polishing, but doesn't make sense. It will be just like uh, minor minor things to finish. So we will launch it, and this is like very tied to the question before about like governance and treasury and stuff, because it's like great opportunity, especially for deegans or people interested in like cross-chain arbitrages or like dexis arbitrages, or just like arbitrages in general, because I think it will be needed to ARP, Basilisk, and Kusama DeFi against centralized exchanges, which are usually more liquid, and they have like fiat on ramps, off ramps. So this is the opportunity for all of you. We will need to have we will ha- we need to start to build tooling for developers, but especially for these like arbitragers. So anyone who was playing with some like arbitrage or trading bots, many of them are open sourced, are very much welcome, or they have like nice opportunity to customize them for Dotsama ecosystem. That's one of the it's one of the points or items which will be rewarded from the treasury as soon as it will be working.
Okay,
Also
that's
setting up these like incentivized trading or testnet competition will be super important, and it will help us a lot if someone can help help us to set up like right incentives and rights and like terms and conditions and this kind of stuff. For example, trading pairs, there needs to be add something like faucets, maybe some like oracles feeding prices, or maybe not. Uh, we will need to set up. We can set up with our infrastructure like basically any parachain and relay chain which is like open source on GitHub. So it would be great if community can help us to get other founders to participate on it. So, and they will offer also some incentives. And what else? Yeah, and that's where we start to share. That's where we start to open products. So the first we need some like testing with community, same as we were doing with Dr. Pass, but it will come a testing of like products. So we will do this like UX research, and if and like product testing, incentivize for some like reward, and then we need to start this trading testnet, or how to say it.
And then you think that will like your sort of realistic timeline for that is 2 weeks, you say, for that, sorry, or
2 or 3, yeah. And if there will be like if there will be like no issue, like then we can launch LBP, because also like other teams wants them want to launch their tokens there. So it's also pushing us.
Okay, cool. So like 2-3 weeks for the testnet, and then a couple weeks after that before we can look at a date for LBP. Do you think that's fair? Or?
Yeah, maybe it could be simultaneously. If it will be working.
That's fair enough.
The security audits are pending, unfortunately.
And you think like there's still the same sort of setup is expected for when the LBP does start? It would be the two different pools, and like as much changed on what you're going to launch, or it's just sort of the timeline that's moved a bit, or?
Just like timeline is moved.
Okay, cool. And then I mean, the next question sort of goes quite nicely with that, and it's just how, how soon after the LBP will other features launch, and what, like, I guess as it stands now, what are the sort of base case features of the Snake that we'll see like directly after LBP?
It will be released gradually, so it should be continued by XYK pools. I hope curve pools, but Jakub will kill me for it. But also that would be great if someone can help with curve pools as well. But it's like at the back end, on the back end, it's implemented like for quite a long time. It will need just like some separate front end. NFT functionality it's very much finished, I think. Not sure where are guys with auctions, but we don't need auctions actually yet. We have NFTs with royalties, which is one of the most requested feature from all artists or all like NFT producers, which we were speaking about like in last weeks and months. Marketplace also did a great progress.
Okay, so like if you think sort of LBP is fair enough to say for sort of like 4 or 5 weeks, like do you think the NFT stuff will be rolled out this year too, or you think that's a bit further away from being launched?
I don't know, because for NFTs there is like dedicated small team, and also guys from Kodadot is working on it. So I don't know if it goes. I don't know if it goes simultaneously or in parallel or continuously. Hard to say. Maybe it will go one after each other to basically deploy a bigger feature and see if everything is going right, and then another and another. So I would I don't want to like launch like two bigger features at once, because you always have like users confused, they don't know what to do, or they have some like bugs, or they have some incompatibilities because of their custom hardware or custom software, or I don't know, or issues with versioning. So I would go one after each other. So
Okay.
gradually. The XYK pools following the LBPs are the most important stuff with liquidity mining. Like liquidity mining should also follow release of XYK basically immediately.
And like I know a lot of this is out of Basilisk control as well, but so I don't want to force you to like say a date, but I guess it is the most asked question. So if you had the sort of best estimate when you think the LBP might be, do you have something in mind, or you just your best things to tell everyone to just stay updated to the weekly updates? Or
No, we like I would like to, but on like these experiences from the last weeks, I have like a little bit PTSD. Uh, so expect chaos. We
it
wish
might
like less chaos, but it is what it is like.
it might
Also,
be a nice Christmas present, So
no, we don't want to wait to Christmas. Like that's too much. We want to start to be live and working as soon as possible. But like it would be great if people will understand like how hard is heterogeneous blockchain sharding. Like by heterogeneous, I mean blockchains which are like totally different to each other. Like you could see that Ethereum is working on homogeneous sharding for years, and they are still like delaying, and they are not there yet. And homogeneous sharding, when all shards are like similar, like totally like one to one, like similar, it's also a huge computer science and engineering problem and issue. Or for example, like near protocol from guys who were working at Google and different companies and building sharding databases for these companies like Google, Uber, PayPal, and others. They are like biggest experts on sharding maybe in the world, and near still doesn't have like more than one shard, you see, and their sharding is like similar. So what I want to say that building system where you are trying to synchronize in one block like a lot of or even like few blockchains which are like totally different with totally different state transition functions is like super hard. And I don't want to be that guy who is building Polkadot or Kusama, but it's working. It's working just like so. It's just like so early, but we believe it's the like right approach, for scaling. Like also, it's funny how you see all the hype around like rollups, but actually parachains are rollups, and these rollups will be like throttled via like slow relay chain, which is actually currently Ethereum 1. So we are in the good space. Just I'm just asking for like a little bit more patience from everyone.
Yeah, and like you say, like I think everyone appreciates, like, I mean, every parachain team so far has sort of been a bit slower than expected, and at least most people seem to appreciate the amount of work it is. So I guess everyone's just trying to balance their excitement with being patient too. But no, that's cool, and thanks for giving a bit of a timeline on that. And I guess the next thing is, like you've mentioned it before as well, you have some teams lined up to do the LBPs, and I guess you're speaking to quite a few to do that as well. But can you give any reveals on who that might be, or you're keeping that secret for after the Snake LBP?
Some of them became parachains, and some of them are important infrastructure pieces, and some of them are one of the most expected projects.
Oh man, that's I think I'm
I
trying to
think
work
we
out.
got a green light from Brainjar that he's considering very much the LVP, so we can say at least that.
That would be an awesome way to start it. And then
And
you think that that's
obviously,
something?
Angular, because all funds which Angular will get will be used for liquidity on this money market. So
Okay, awesome.
low hanging fruit.
And you think, like, I guess the functionality for other teams to do LBPs will be there once the Snake launches, or is that sort of another batch of work you guys have got to finish to make it available sort of for other people? Or
No, as soon as it will be working for us, it can work for them.
okay, awesome.
We just want to be like test case for them. So we don't we don't want to experiment with them, but with us.
Oh, that's awesome. And like it might be a couple of weeks wait, but at least there's a lot to look forward to. Especially with, it was nice to see Picasso get a slot this round too. So
Yeah,
I'm very excited. Finally, but it'll be good to see what you guys are working on with Angular. And I know last time you mentioned sort of the Angular timeline was around the end of this year, sort of start of next year. Is that still the same Like, is that taking up a lot of your time as well, or?
Yes, because we were also working on Angular and creating the like first cross-chain liquidation mechanism, which was which was very interesting mental exercise. How to do it, how to do it effectively, fast, because in cross-chain you don't have atomic transactions as on like one layer or as on like one blockchain. So you have this like one block. You have this like one block delay, which could be like dangerous, but we created like a good enough solution how to do it in like one block if that trigger will be pushed. So yeah, we were already working on the Angular as well.
Okay, awesome. And then I guess another question, sort of from a few people, has been, will people be able to use their locked up Basilisk rewards like to do anything, or would the unvested ones remain locked up? Like, will people be able to do any like?
So I would be glad if somebody who wrote that question said which parchain actually it is. I was looking into this, and we would love to vote, for example, in governance with vested tokens. And I was speaking with some projects about this. They would also love to do it, but I didn't see yet who did it actually. So if there is already a solution, then we'll definitely want to use it. If
I
not,
think
then we'll need to develop it.
I think it requires quite bigger changes to democracy palette, right?
There are
You
some
need
hacks that can be done, but it's not simple
you
thing
need
to do.
new token. But solution on which we are looking is that it will be something similar as you have on Curve Finance, and you are looking the CRV for getting VE CRV, the voted escrowed CRV. That looks like
Mm.
it looks like it's becoming like market standard in other protocols as well. That's something what we are considering in Angular, and we realize that maybe it's like the solution for this case as well.
And I guess you changed the vesting schedule of rewards too. So I guess we will have a bit more Basilisk to play with on launch as well, which helps, I guess.
Yeah.
I think there's a question from our guys at Coda.dot. I tried to invite him to this stage. But in the meantime, did you hear anything about or have you seen anything new on the KUSD liquidity, or is that sort of still?
Yeah. Good question. I met one ape from Chaos DAO in London. That he was pushing them quite a lot to this. They don't see they don't see super open to it, but as I said before, the most important part was to see these voices from community. So when we will come for them, we can prove that it's not just coming from us, but everyone. The Dotsama community want to use KUSD, but on the other hand, KUSD needs to be more liquid, so they needs to add more incentives to make it more liquid and increase the volume dramatically. But also the same guy who is helping us with pushing them, he also he also told me that uh, that he used it as a opportunity, that he was arbing a KSM via Kraken and and Karura even manually, and making some money and making some money on it. So that's a great opportunity for everyone who can like set up some ARP bot start the ARP these platforms, and especially when we will come live, this that will be interesting, like triangular arbitrages, or basically like round trades via KSM, KUSD, BSX, and all these like interconnected pairs. That will be a lot of fun, and I think that would be like nice opportunity for anyone smart who was, for example, trying to ARP on ETH, but like currently the competition in MEV, the miner extractable value, or on ARPs on ETH is similar to basically like Olympics. So you are you are basically trying to compete with the best developers on Ethereum, while there is not much tooling, and like the Dotsama ecosystem is still like quite overlooked, because otherwise you won't see such spreads on Karura. Then it's like great opportunity for anyone who can set up some like own, I don't know if Hummingbot or other trading bots which you can find on GitHub, open source, and put there some entry capital and play with it, and you will also learn a lot about space, and you will see the other opportunities first. So it's saying like many like smart contract developers, or like many security auditors, they were first who were deep in DeFi, and the first who understand like flash loans and ARBs and how AMMs are working. So they like quit their job and they were just arbing, and right now many of them which I know, they are like retired, so, so they don't want to even like continue, because they earn so much money that like they just want to enjoy life, and like it's the competition is super hard on ETH, and but also it's driving a lot of people who like love competition with the best, so it's funny. But my friend Matti also had some interesting question in his latest blog, that like maybe like imagine Anatoly Yakovenko, the founder of Solana, competing on Ethereum instead of with Ethereum. Like it's very easy to find like what created much more value, you see. So I am also like trying to nudge these guys that like if they are spending their time best as they can, and what if like building products is creating much more value than like than just like arbing as hell. But it's also important, like liquidity is a great feature for any asset. So without liquidity, Bitcoin and ETH and other never could be used as a collateral for lending, and then helps to create like truly decentralized stable coins. So I'm not shitting on arbitragers. No, oppositely, like they are doing like great job to make DeFi feasible and working. But sorry, I was philosophing too much, and I should let Val ask or tell us something. We can't hear you. Val? Can anyone listen him?
No, I can't hear him. Yes.
Yeah, so your mic is not working on maybe your Discord. Sometimes helps just like restarting Discord.
Yeah, I can.
Turning on.
But Kubo, I guess just I want to quickly ask you something on the last point. Like, is the ARB, like the ARB bots, something that you guys are gonna run yourselves to try and improve liquidity, or it's just something you want to encourage from like DGens and community? Or
I had such dream like 1 year ago, and no, like it's not possible like from us. Like I would like to if I can, but I don't have like technical capabilities, and Jakub and others have too much stuff to finish that they don't have any other time anyway. So
So
no,
I tried for 3 days. I had something, but then I realized that it's not like I have better things to do. So let somebody else build it. Let
but
somebody else make the money.
there are people enjoying it, and it can be like a lot of stuff, a lot of fun. You could see that, for example, salmonella hack. That was a lot of fun when our friend Nathan, who actually came to London meetup as well, he fucked with Ethermind sandwich bots. That was like pretty funny, and then you have like much more interesting and cool stuff. So it can be fun, it can be very profitable, but we don't have time to do by ourselves. So we would rather to reward anyone who can like build these bots and open source them, and also who can like run them with their own custom strategies, which doesn't need to be open source, obviously. Just it would be really helpful for the ecosystem if they will open source the bots, and then they can run any their own strategies which they will create, like that obviously their IP, or it's like intellectual property or like advantage.
Cool, man. And Val, are you there? I just want to check if you've fixed your mic or. Okay. If
Yeah,
not, I'll ask you, Kubo.
not
Like,
gonna repeat.
it's just gonna be me asking more snake questions instead. How boring. But one of the questions was, how confident are you that the degens aren't gonna break the snake LBP? I mean, you obviously made the cool write up on the after the Hydra LBP, and we've seen recently some other LBPs on Copper and other platforms like that. Are you confident that like the weights and the mechanics you're putting in place will prevent the FOMO? Or
I don't know, like we'll see, but also the KUSD liquidity is much more limited, and also balancer allow you to route to DAI and then to XHDX via any currency which was on balancer, which helps a lot as well. So I think it's like very reasonable to expect that Snake LBP will be lower, but will we see? We will see. Like if it will be big, it will be obviously great because it will help to KUSD a lot. I think with PEG and with liquidity, and also as there will be two pools running at once, the KSM BSX and KUSD BSX, it can create like also another juicy arbitrage opportunities even during the LBP. So it would be great if someone will like really take it as a priority and start to working on it. So he will be ready when it will come, because you would need to do like some repricing or internal repricing of KSM and KUSD, and then you would be able to basically arbit internally, because there will be some spreads if you will recalculate the prices to like dollar amounts.
cool. And have you guys decided on like a starting price for the LBP, or I guess is that going to be all revealed much closer to the time? Or
Closer to the time, but I think it was like 10 times crowd loan valuation, I don't know, or 6 times. But right now I hope it will really start to fall down because it is supposed to fall down, right?
it's
That was
supposed to, but
because some of my friends, they were angry on me because they told that I lied to them, that they should wait. Yeah.
And I saw as well that I think it may have been mentioned last there, but it was definitely mentioned recently that there will be the 1 month vesting for the Basilisk bought in the LBP. There was just questions as well, like what will that be completely locked for people to do anything with in general, or what will the vesting mean specifically for the LBP Basilisk? BCX, sorry.
So, excuse me, what was the question? Because I was
Right.
right. Wow, that his
So
mic.
I didn't hear anything about the vesting for the tokens bought in the LBP, right?
So for the 1 month, I think it was written that there's a 1 month vesting for the BSX from the LBP. So I think people are wondering just, if it means it's completely locked or if it will be able to be used still in liquidity pools or anything. Or
Oh, that should be some like miscommunication.
Yeah, that's probably a mistake. So if you bought in the LBP, there you should be able to use it right away.
oh, okay. So is there a 1 month vesting on it, or that's not true?
No, that's not true. There was some kind of like miscommunication, or I don't know from where you get it.
Oh, okay. I mean, it was a question, so I'm not sure where it came from, but I've got a message from a community question. I think the Dow King wants to raise his hand whilst we wait for Val. Hello.
Hello.
Guys, I was just, on the LBP discussion topic, I was just kind of wondering how you thought about handling it. Like, Jacob said, like, oh, his friends thought he was lying to them about it. Kind of, because I've been talking to some of the other communities, it's sort of about the philosophy behind, you said, oh, maybe you'll put the starting price of the LBP to be 6x or 10x the price of the the crowd loan or whatever. Talk to me a little bit about how you're thinking about that, or what the philosophy is, because like I've had interesting discussions with other people saying like, oh, you don't want to like put it too high because maybe then maybe some of those people will get hurt by aping, but then it doesn't work if you put it too low. And like I personally am of the opinion that you should just put it as absolutely high as possible, because if people are participating without understanding, those aren't our community members. Those are people that are trying to just be crazy or flip or so I'm interested in your thoughts about the approach, or how you are sort of thinking about that scenario.
So the slight problem with if you set it crazy high and there is some buyer and he doesn't want to sell, or like he buys in the beginning and people start aping, the price will never go down as you would like want it to, because it's like it's not linear or
Is
not
how it
predictable.
is this problem if so if the price doesn't go down, you mean like, so for example, if I went in, it started way high, I aped, right? I buy a whole bunch,
Yeah,
and then it won't drop at all ever again for anybody else for the rest
it,
of the liquidity. Is that the problem?
it will drop, but not as much as you would expect, and then you are kind of breaking it because you don't want to like do crazy high valuation. So you still want to have reasonable valuation, even if somebody apes in the beginning, like we saw in our LBP like last time. So imagine if nobody bought for 1 day in the last LBP. If the price dropped for 1 day, then the final price with 22 million of the LBP would be, I think, third of what it was, even with the same amount of liquidity that people drop in it. So the reason that it went so high is because people in the beginning were buying a lot, and they didn't allow the price to drop. So that means if we did it even more, like even higher price in the beginning, and people would still buy, then the price would be even higher at the end. So it's true that you make it reasonable. You cannot do it like 1,000 times more than it should be.
And again, just to make sure I'm understanding it, that's because like, is this only the case if they buy up the supply to bring it down, or no matter what? So what if I just bought one, right? Like what if I put in $100 at the really high price, and then other people are patient, then it will drop after that?
Yes, then it will drop. Yes.
But so the concern though is just protecting the ape, because if somebody buys it at a very high valuation, then it will be up to them to sell it or try to get rid of it later. This would be like, I'm just not sure if this is harming just this person doing it or if it harms the entire system.
No, but you need to think about like how people think, and if you start seeing that a lot of people start buying, then probably it will spark a chain reaction, exactly like last time. So if everybody waited for just a little bit longer, everybody would have cheaper tokens. But it didn't happen, and people are like crazy. And even if they know the project and are listening to us, they're still like I don't know how human brains work in this case, but
Yes.
kind of FOMO.
So, like I said, so yeah, if I'm understanding correctly, this is you guys trying to protect the. Whereas like I said, again, this is,
Yes.
everybody's different opinions, but I'm a very free market type of person. How much can we actually do to protect the people who don't care? Like, there's really not a lot. So again, I just wanted to make sure I understood, because I've been having similar conversations with friends about them saying, oh, well, we can't harm the community members. People will be very upset. But again, I don't, my opinion is that if everybody is knowingly buying the snake at $1 trillion valuation, that's their fault. Like, I just wanted to make sure that I understood what was going on. But thank you. I think that answered my question.
Yeah, that's exactly the case.
Like, you are right, and like,
Yeah.
I tend to like agree with you, but on the other hand, we saw it many times even in our case, like same, like you can tell to people a million times that don't lock everything to staking, let something for fees, and they still you have like hundreds or like higher tens of people who are doing it. Same with LBP. Last time we were like super vocal about it. I was like repeating it like million times, and it's still happen. Like it's the same as any crypto is getting like parabolic raise, so people are jumping there because they are just like imagining that parabola will go even higher. So you can't really do much
Yes.
to protect people from it. It's the same
Yeah.
as like who were buying Curve with like bigger valuation, bigger FDV than Bitcoin when it was released, like in summer. I don't know, but there were still some people buying them, and other people were like very happily dumping to them. So you can't really do nothing about it, and I think it's much better to prevent like hundreds of people bitching about like dumping coin and why buy it so expensive. I don't know, man. You did it. We didn't hold gun to your head, but it's like we want to like manage. We want to just like make it better for everyone in community to like save these kind of discussions, or basically to prevent these kind of discussions later. And who knows,
Yeah.
like if we will put the price like 100x, it can still like stop unreasonable high, like at like 30x or something, because people will tell themselves you won't see the scale very properly then, and people will see like, oh, it drops like enough, so I'm finally getting in, and it still be like very high. So I think it's better to start at something like much lower.
Yes, yes. Okay, that makes sense. Also, the curve and being able to see what it is that you're actually looking at. If you're like, oh, it dropped 10x, but it's actually still, 100x above valuation. That's a
Yeah,
problem.
exactly, exactly.
Great. Great. That's all I wanted. I was just hoping to hear a little bit about your thoughts and philosophy on that. But thank you very much.
Yeah, you're always welcome. But yeah, I had this like similar view, but then I was like thinking more about people who are not overthinking things like we do sometimes.
No, and that's a good point, and it makes me want to ask you, you guys, how are you sort of estimating how many people will actually participate? Because I know obviously with the Hydra one, it was on ETH, so I guess you could sort of have a bit of a better idea. But like, there's not that many on-chain users for Kusama at the moment. Like, I guess there might be people using Karura, and obviously this is going to be like the debut LBP on Basilisk's own chain. So like, how are you sort of trying to estimate that, considering like how fresh Kusama is in general, and this will be the first time that a lot of people are maybe even interacting with Kusama itself, and obviously the first time with Basilisk.
I have no idea, but I think it's like a really great opportunity for Karura community and Karura founders uh, to have some nice and refreshing use case for their products. So I don't know. I hope it will be thousands of people
Mm.
who are priced out from ETH, because today when there was like hack on Rari Capital, I had there something, but fortunately like separated or different pools. And when I was trying to withdraw the liquidity and move it elsewhere, like my eyes were bleeding from those keys, or basically anything what I want to do these not days but these months or even like last year on ETH. It's like it's crazy. And when I saw first but today CMS, which is one of the biggest prop shop in crypto, bitching about like exchanges not supporting stablecoin withdrawals on other layer ones. It clicked me again that even like very successful and big guys in crypto has have issue with Ethereum fees. It's like pretty clear that Ethereum is pricing out all its users elsewhere. So it is really like doing some testing of new dApps, or when I was doing some like market research on like different dApps or new protocols on ETH, even like learning and testing how is it working. It like for every like fucking token approval or like contract approval, like asking me like tens of dollars or hundreds. And let's say you want to try like 10 new protocols, it's like too expensive. And for example, when you want to do like some like interest rate arbitrage or something, you need operate like with hundreds of thousands of dollars to make it like to make fees low enough that it makes sense to do like rebalancing and stuff. Also, I had PTSD from using Aave, where like the contract failed, the like withdrawal of collateral failed like five times, and I paid like I don't know like $2,000 just for the like withdrawal transaction, which never happened until I was liquidated. So yeah, I think other layer ones will attract thousands or even more people who were priced out from ETH, and they wanna try stuff and new stuff. Also, we see the huge a lot of bans on crypto in China. So maybe or the it was even like proven that Chinese people were finally exploring DeFi after these bans. I think you have a lot of other jurisdictions where people can use centralized exchanges. So I
Mm.
don't know, like maybe it will be tens, maybe it will be hundreds, and hopefully it will be thousands. Or I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be like pretty similar numbers to crowd loans. Obviously, it will be maybe a lower number than crowd loans, but it could be on par.
And since we're talking about ETH, have you guys like spoken, I guess, with the other parachain teams like Moonriver to like what in general, what's the status of XCM? And I guess that's the next biggest thing for Kusama in general to really have like the cross-chain stuff going is like, have you guys heard a timeline from the Kusama teams like on that in general? Because I guess
So
that's quite big for Basilisk to have the
Sure, like I would be super happy if we can use Moonriver and work with them, but they
I
are
was speaking actually with them during our Lisbon stay, and they're not ready basically. So I understand why it's quite hard because they have Ethereum address schemes, and they need to translate it somehow to cross-chain transfers from other parachains and to like basically pop into the Ethereum ecosystem that they have, so into the EVM and also outside of the EVM. So it's quite a big engineering task, especially for them. So we are waiting. I think it's several weeks away still for them to be ready for any XCM transfer. But with Akala, we're basically ready. We tried it already multiple times. So we can, as soon as we open channels, we can communicate.
basically any parachain who is like already like Karura. And it's not like such a Ethereum base as Moonriver.
Hmm.
Like it said, it would be great if they could be like open to rest of the ecosystem, but it's just matter of time. It will work, but
Yeah, no, I was wondering, like, did you guys look at any of the data from like the liquidity bootstrapping that Karura did in general, like with Bifrost the other day, or was there anything interesting that you guys saw from how they did it, or?
didn't check the Bifrost. I saw just them. Natively.
To be fair, the only reason I know the Bifrost one is because I bought it at $13, and then 10 minutes later it was at free. So I learned my lesson.
Wait,
You see, Dawking, this is the reason. This is the reason.
I'm part of the problem. But I have the written questions from Val, so I can ask you guys on his behalf since I don't think his mic's working.
nice.
Yeah, so his first question is, what is the different functionality you'd like to see between Basilisk's NFT marketplace and what we're already seeing on Kusama? Is it like a competitor to Remark, or like how do you see it like it fitting in?
Maciej, are you here or no? I can. So it's right now it's different to Remark because Remark is basically protocol built on top of some functionality that every chain has, but it's not really secure. And it's so it will go through the phase where it will be, and it will change. But currently, what we are building is we are building on top of Unix palette, which is part of Substrate, and we're building functionality directly on chain, not with some abstraction layer on top of it. And the first functionality will be a marketplace, then there will be auctions, and also we want to use NFTs for financial stuff, so we want to use it for liquidity mining positions, for example. So
Remark will be great, but they need to deploy it somewhere with on somewhere where are smart contracts or NFT palettes implemented, which is obviously not Karura. Kusama. Kusama doesn't have like any smart contract functionality or any other palettes which would support it. So is Remark is currently that hacky way, but kudos to them because they brought a lot of people interested in like in alternatives for NFTs outside of ETH. Like for me, quite eye-opening was when I was listening some like Clubhouse edition about like NFTs here in Slovakia. There was like many artists who know nothing about crypto, but when they got the question like where are more usable or cheaper NFTs, they told that they heard that Kusama is cool, or they know that Kusama is cheap and green. It's actually interesting that these like artists, they are also very interested in chains who are not using proof of work, but also like from more practical reason, like mint NFT could be like super expensive on ETH, so they are looking at like much practical alternatives. Also, we had some like different perks for NFTs. I got some like couple of ideas how to do lending based on NFT collateral, which would be actually like pretty safe and uh, not so crazy based on like you don't have like solid price for NFTs. Actually, if you have something like escrow for NFT or some like auction, that stable coins which are waiting for like purchase, that could be basically like intrinsic value for NFT, and then you can like maybe borrow against them. But it will be some collab with between our marketplace and Angular. So we'll see. I don't know what is like roadmap for Remark. And like during this call, I got message from one of their developer that they want to do some like collab, or at least like think about some like explorations about like collaboration. So obviously we don't want to do it everything by ourselves. We just want to like provide DeFi infrastructure for any other use cases.
No, that's cool. And to be honest, Val's next question was really interesting too. So he's asking, what do you guys think about incentivized NFT vesting? And do you think time incentivized liquidity mining on Basilisk or Hydra could be used with NFTs too? Like, I guess in general, like, do you guys have any ideas on like the crossover between DeFi in general and NFTs and how you might want to play with that? Or
Yeah, we were thinking about like doing some like boost rewards for people holding like specific NFTs, or basically if you if you can add some like DeFi attributes to NFTs, like for example, like imagine that you can add like for example token logo or symbol to NFTs. So these NFTs which will have printed like specific symbol or specific logo, if you will log them to like liquidity farming for that specific asset, you could get some like bonus rewards or something like that. That was just like idea. It's nothing on the roadmap, so it's not like written in the stone, but there are just like some low hanging fruit ideas what to do. Or if you will for example combine two NFTs to one more rare one, then you could get some like higher governance power or something like that. So yeah, you could do like a lot of stuff because also you have these like verifiable random function used for like used for like finishing crowd loans or ending crowd loans. You could use these like provable random functions for a lot of interesting stuff, like having like rare attributes for NFTs and then like enhance their functions, or use very rare NFTs for like giving you some advantages on DeFi, or if you have like very liquid NFTs, same like CryptoPunks. You could start to use them as collateral as well, or you can borrow some NFTs for like special occasion. Like for example, WoW is a huge fan of metaverse. So like imagine that you want to be cool on some like party in metaverse, so you can borrow from some real owner of NFT, some specific or a really cool one to be a king on the party, and then like after party give it back to him, like same as some guys maybe they're like borrowing Ferrari from car rentals for like some party or something like that. I think we will see such cases in metaverse for sure.
Man, if that's what the parties you go to are like, I want an invite.
Yeah. But obviously, in like real world, you can like crash the drunk as fuck that Ferrari, but you can like ensure that that NFT will be given back to the owner as it is.
No, that's super interesting. And thanks. It's a shame your mic doesn't work, Val, but thank you for the questions.
Also, but much more practical use case is like royalties, which I mentioned before, but also like for example fractionalizing NFTs to fungible tokens. All of these use cases are basically like too expensive on it, or will be basically more expensive on it. So these are like just like very straightforward use cases which could be like much more cheaper and practical. And also as parachains are not constrained via EVM for like computation, you can like do like much more crazier computation. So for example, you can have something like NFT, which is like specific AI persona. So you could have like, I don't know, like some comic, which is like neural network trained on like many data or memes or something, and that could be like specific, and it will be presented by specific NFT, and maybe when we will finally have something like Filecoin or other decentralized storages and like decentralized computational layers, we can like train like application specific AI personas, which will be basically tokenized. So no government will own them and fuck us with them, but it will be owned by some its communities. So yeah, that's but it is like too futuristic. But actually, I saw some project. It's funded by Delphi Digital. I need to go back, or maybe Wow know the name.
Altered state machine. That's what you're looking. Altered state machine.
Excuse me.
Altered state machine. That's the AI NFT project.
All Truth State Machine.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thanks.
Sorry about that. Sorry for cutting in.
Dude,
Yeah.
on that note, you're on the stage.
Sorry about that. Huge fan of what you guys are building. You guys are absolutely giga brains. Us and like some of the guys from OX are just massive fans. We've been talking about this ARB situation that you've just mentioned. That's why I kind of wanted to get on stage. Isn't that like what instrumental is? And I guess that's on Polkadot, but what about building a giga ARB bot palette on Basilisk?
Let's do it.
ARP bot or ARP palette?
Palette, sorry. Yeah. ARB palette. Sorry, that's what I meant.
But it will always have some latency. Like it would be cool if chain itself can ARP something. That was also some like our like past idea, but I think like for right now it would be much more practical if like just people will run their own bots and help with liquidity.
Actually, I don't know if you're familiar with our token engineering course, but there are, I think, two teams that were thinking about using arbitraging bots to gather basically extractable value for the protocol itself, so everybody profits that is holding Basilisk or Hydra tokens.
Yeah.
I think,
Also, liquidations of CDPs on Angular would be done basically via Hydra and Basilisk in a way that most of the fees will go basically to the LPs, liquidity providers of these protocols, and not to arbitrageurs itself, because that's a part of game theory on DeFi, which I think is kind of flawed. That you have these like arbitrageurs arbing CDPs who doesn't need to have like any skin in the game in these like underlying money markets.
Interesting.
So
we just have experience from Thorchain. A lot of us run nodes. The DAO runs a node as well. We have a lot of ARB experience from the way Thorchain works, and we're trying to like kind of see how we could basically use that knowledge here.
I think like very very easily, like if you already have experiences from Thorchain, then I think this is like best prerequisite to start ARPs on Snack and overall in Dotsama. I had also some friends running nodes there, or basically one node, because the nodes there are like pretty expensive, right?
Yeah, you need 1 million runes.
Yeah, that's a lot right now, right? It's like 30 million.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Good for you.
Oh, it's not mine. I wish it was mine. I wish I could tell you. Yeah, that's my node. No, it's like we share it basically, and one of our members basically runs it for us.
Interesting, but you need to have like some like legal contracts between you, because you can't delegate your stake in Thorchain, right?
Yeah, you can. What do you mean? No, yeah, you can. Oh, sorry, to him, yeah, but he basically for Thorchain, we pay for some of these expenses that he has.
Yes. But what I mean that you can nominate, like like in Polkadot or incentivized isn't on Hydra, you can nominate your funds to validator, and he can't touch them. Basically, you need to send it all to him, and he needs to set the node, right?
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Similar to Tezos also.
Interesting. Tezos is the same?
As far as I know, yes.
I don't know how Tezos
At
works.
least the payouts are distributed by the guy it's himself. Not sure about the nomination itself, but the payouts are distributed in this way.
I think nominations are good. But anyway, like, so I am assuming that you have some like experiences with arbing Thorchain, because like, Thorchain is also like ARP machine, or like for people, because that the price is always not like off, but as everything is priced in Rune, like every change of a Rune price is basically moving the prices of other assets as well, right? So
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah. We've been thinking about building like a basically a protocol, like a big protocol. There's one being built on Terra right now because Terra has an issue with the way UST and the Luna pools work, but a giant protocol where you'd have tokens and you could stake and earn a portion of the fees from the arbing, and that's how we would actually buy our own node using this method.
But
That's kind of the idea.
But you would need some kind of nodes or people who are like triggering actions of this protocol, right?
We would run our own this protocol that we wanted to build that we never did, but the protocol itself would run a node. We would have one node or nodes dedicated to this protocol that would have people staking their protocol tokens for liquidity, and then that node would be all day arbing, and then people would earn some kind of fee from the arb for staking. That was the general idea, and I was curious if that was something like that's possible here.
With off-chain workers, yes, but it's a little bit similar like Harpoon protocol, right? Where you are using pool of capital for liquidating CDPs on Anchor, right?
Harpoon would stop you. Well, yeah, I get that Harpoon would stop you from getting liquidated. That's what they're calling it, or now it's called Kajira, but technically it would stop you from getting liquidated.
Oh, interesting, because the previous use case for Harpoon was, as you could assume from the name, was to liquidate CDPs with capital which you don't have or you don't need.
I'm not actually that familiar. I mean, that's what I remember reading. I'm not super familiar with the protocol itself. I'm not really involved in there.
The idea for the like Arbing pool or Arbing protocol would be basically to pool enough funds and then use these funds for like one pool of capital for Arbing underlying AMM, right?
That's right. Yeah, you could bid for liquidations, right? That's right. That I remember. Yep.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm just I'm like a little bit concerned how
But
much be trustless or how to minimize delay within like updating of price.
well, now they have another protocol called Nexus, which basically is a front runner of Anchor. It just front runs Anchor and stops you from getting liquidated. So I don't know how Harpoon, or now they're called Kajira, would solve this issue, because now there's like a better Oracle solution that all Nexus does is front run to save.
It reminds me that Anchor Protocol team was front running everyone else. Okay, like if you can write to ideas chat how you imagine it should work. I think we will be very happy jamming on it, especially public ones, so more people can
Well, that's the idea, right? Yeah.
with the discussion
We can also connect you with the TE guys. I think you will have a lot of sync with. So they are doing the math behind it and trying to see if there is a solution for improving impermanent loss and capital efficiency in this way. And they found that most probably yes. And yeah, it's very interesting to see these opportunities. But you need a lot of people to think and then find the right people.
I know a lot of Russians that know Rust really well.
Or I have a point how it could work. Maybe it would be interesting if it is like decentralized arbitrager or no, a decentralized liquidity pool for arbing will have exclusive QE in our mempool, same as liquidations or price oracles updates can have, because this protocol can commit that for with his earnings it will accumulate more BSX or HDX, or basically liquidity mining rewards which it gets will not dump or something like that. You could set like much healthy game theory while arbitraging them. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Let's do it. I'm down. I mean, I'll find some Russian Rust developers. That shouldn't be that hard, or Armenians. They're really good.
We need this.
I just need some people with better math skills than me. I'm barely functioning.
Yeah, actually, we have currently more researchers and mathematicians than than developers ever. It's crazy. Like it's like very volatile. This ratio is like super volatile. Like sometimes like previously we had the feeling that there is like too much more developers than like mathematicians, and like mathematicians are super rare, and like last weeks and months that are like much more mathematicians are pouring into space and developers are again much more scarce.
Yeah, because my mom's a mathematician. She doesn't have a job because none of them have work.
Yeah,
it's
and
crazy.
a lot of these mathematicians they have like very boring job in like insurance companies and banks and
Life
stuff.
insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
perfect.
down. I'll
So
message you guys. I'm sweet.
yeah,
Thanks, you guys rock.
thank you. Really
You're
appreciate.
Thanks.
Are there any questions left? Because we could end. There was again
Yeah,
more
we've
hours.
covered we've covered a lot, and time flies. If nobody wants to ask a question, I can do a quick recap if you want.
Sure.
Just so everybody, I guess, leaves on the same page. But I guess to start with Hydra, you guys have already said you're going to go for the second crowd loan, and that you're going to post your crowd loan strategy much closer to the time, which I guess makes sense with watching the first ones. We can expect the governance triple in on Hydra over the next couple of weeks. The snake will start to see some community testing in the next 2 to 3 weeks for the UI, and I think you guys have already mentioned quite a bit about that. And then a week or two after that, we can expect the LBP. So I guess 4 or 5 weeks is the estimate we're leaving on for LBP. I won't force you to it. And then after the LBP, you already mentioned we'll see the Picasso one. And then after the LBP as well, we'll see the snake specific governance and council. I think that's the most of the things I have from today, unless there's anything you guys wanted to mention before we go.
Yeah, I just wanna repeat that again. Like every help is very much welcome, and it will be rewarded even like retroactively, obviously. So we need to set up this like incentivized trading testnet, and it needs like a lot of help. I don't mean just like development help, but like all kind of ideas about like what will be the appropriate amount of like rewards, which trading pairs should be there included, which parachain testnets should be included there, with who to speak about it, what tooling should be incentivized, like arbitrage bots are the most obvious one, but maybe some like trading dashboards or like some like asset dashboards and stuff, um, like and a lot of other things which I obviously missing right now or forgotten, and from that we could do something like working group around this, and also you can start like any other like working groups which can improve governance of one or other project better. Also, if anyone is interested how to improve governance, this is also one of the most important topic for us. So I would really like to see the like, bigger professionalization of governance. So there are needed people like, for example, Raul Rimati within Polka.sama ecosystem, who is like organizing votings and council members. So every voting and discussion is like streamlined and organized. It's something like that required like people committed for many hours every week. So it's like helping the blockchain project is never just about like development stuff, but it starts being much more about like product owners, product managers, testers, community managers, builders, and stuff. So, or if anyone wants to lead some AMM or product on top of Snack, like we will be super happy. Like for example, like the curve like AMM that's a little bit underserved. It will need much more love from someone. Like backend is developed, but it will need some like interface as well, and maybe some thinking how to improve it, which pairs include there.
Actually, curve needs updating because we didn't update it for a long time, so it has some old stuff. Need to bring it up to speed. So if anybody wants to play with Rust, this is a good thing to try it on.
That AMM was created as like learning process or like academy process for for developers, but then we realized it works kind of. Also, there are like other type of AMMs for derivatives which we would like to see on top of Snack. Like for example, something similar like perp for perpetuals. That would be nice. Or if you see any good AMM for options, it would be great. Yeah. So yeah, like so let's become a product owner of something, and you don't need to build it by yourself. That's all. And there was some question coming from our Hawaii fella.
Yeah, side question. Jakob, just don't forget to send me the Berkeley dates.
Yeah, so from 18 to 22, but we will came a little bit before to survive or to overcome jet lag, and maybe a few days after that we'll stay there.
Okay. I'll coordinate flights around that time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, little planning ahead coming out from Hawaii.
Yeah, for us too. Like it's the Berkeley trip is quite a mess because a lot of moving around Europe.
Yeah, we'll both have a lot of travel time ahead of us.
Yes, but we are taking it like huge investment to get to know in person many great people. Like places which are quite reachable for us. Berkeley is a little bit different because there is like huge community of developers and students and PhDs. There is a the ZK Zero Knowledge Proofs was created there. Like many great projects came out of Bitcoin at Berkeley or like blockchain at Berkeley. So they want to host our presentation. Also, there will be some like job fair, so it's kind of priority for us to go there.
Okay. Will you be presenting all those the 18th to the 22nd, or just a few of those days?
Few of those days we don't have like strict timeline yet. There will be a lot of like other side events or events and presentation from different projects plus that job fair.
Okay.
So for others that don't know, we are part of the Berkeley Blockchain Accelerator, and we are just finishing the cohort. So we will be traveling for a few days to Berkeley this month. So maybe if anybody wants to meet up and we have time, then
Yeah, I think it will be cool to have a meetup in San Francisco or LA or some of these places. There is a lot of crypto people anyway. Yeah, so I think it's all. Do you have any other question or?
That's it for me.
Thanks. So thank you everyone for coming. It was it was a big one as always.
I don't think we're capable of doing a short one, no.
No, because there are still like quite big spread between them. It was also caused because of all
True. Yeah.
the travels and a lot of moving. But as Snag will go live and Hydra as well, it's required to really form working groups around like different topics and start to operate as like real DAO. Like that's why I'm also like trying to research all these DAOs, how they are working. One of the best example in the space is actually MakerDAO, which is already like boomer DeFi project, but it's really impressive to see how the foundation was dissolved, and they even give back a lot of MKR back to the treasury, and how they have like 13 core units. So basically they have like 13 units of different people, developers, researchers, marketers, and other stuff working. So they have like shit ton of calls like every week because they're really like working like distributed company. So you have like every Monday like risk assessment core unit called, and like Monday marketers and stuff. And also their OPEX is the operational costs are pretty impressive. Like they are burning 3.5 million every month because there is just working so much people.
Wow.
That's also very impressive. So like great school for us, and I hope we will start to in one day work like that. It's like necessary to be like really distributed because you see that all these boomers in institutions, they want to control DeFi as much as possible, so they will make it hard for all of us or for every centralized project, which is unfortunately case of most of the projects. So we need to start to be decentralized as soon as possible. So it will come with the tripling and snack governance as well. Also, speaking of snack governance, we just realized that when token will be live, we will have invested like very small parts. So like community can outvote us on anything like super easily at snack. So yeah, that's all.
No, that's awesome, and like you say, it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and I imagine once we have the LBP and governance is up and running, it's then the chaos will start. So no, thank you guys again for spending the time to update us all too.
Yeah, you're welcome. But thanks for moderating again, and
Thank you for the
for
time.
all of you, and also thank you for your patience. It's not easy, and it would be really great if we can be already live, but it is what it is. You see that many other projects are not still like fully live and operational, but we are trying to push the whole ecosystem, like with that proposal to lower bonds for everyone. It's not just in favor of us, but for everyone. Then fighting for liquidity mining incentives for whole ecosystem, which will be very beefy, and other funding for security audits and making whole ecosystem much better. So yeah, that's all. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Bye.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. Ciao.
Ciao, guys.